All right, so this is going to be my first installment of a most likely weekly chat, uh, podcast, blog, op-ed, whatever you want to call it. And each week I'm going to state some things that I consider facts, others might consider opinions, just about the state of things, the inconsistencies, the ironies, and the disparities that we in American culture are living with, dealing with, and have basically succumbed to. My name is Calisby. I know it's a bit of a tongue twister, so I go by CJ. Basically, I'm going to start this off because it's on the tip of everybody's tongue about the election. Donald Trump and the Vice President Kamala Harris. So I'm going to give you a little background on myself. I am a recovering addict. I also am a drug felon. I've been in recovery for some time now, and my life has totally changed, and I thank God for that, because there are several people, I see people daily who aren't so fortunate yet. But I've had to endure living with the stigma of being a felon, and I've been relegated to menial jobs, piss poor jobs that I can't even afford to live on. I know I'm not the only person that's watching this election and seeing the blatant disparity, the blatant inequity and hypocrisy that is thrown in our face with disregard, like we're just sheep. We're so stupid. We've been fed a narrative for decades that once you have a felony on your record, you can expect your life to be more difficult, to be harder, to not be able to get good jobs. And we've accepted this narrative. But now all of a sudden it doesn't apply to a guy who has a worse criminal record than John Gotti, a worse criminal record than Charles Manson. We consider Charles Manson a sociopath, and he has 27 felonies. So what does that make Donald Trump? So I'm going to start this off simply with a letter that I'm sending to the Vice President. I'm going to mail it to her, and I'm going to post it on blogs. I simply titled it, A Letter to Kamala. And it says, Ms. Vice President, let me first start this by saying I am very hopeful that you are elected to be the leader of the free world. Something has to change. First, let me give you a little background on myself. I am a recovering addict. I am also a convicted felon. I am not ashamed of any other things that I've been through, because it was those experiences that, in my opinion, have made me a better man. They make me more empathetic to the struggles and plights of others. I am also not, unfortunately, a minority in that respect, because there's an estimated 19 million Americans that have felony records today, including a Republican presidential nominee / president. But only one to date that does not feel the stigma of being a felon. It seems to me that people who are not held accountable for their actions, or have the money to pay their way out of everything, or can manipulate every situation to their advantage, are the ones who have no empathy or concern for the betterment of mankind or for any other human on the planet. These are the type of individuals that will walk past someone they consider a derelict, who is in peril and in want, and step over them because they don't want to stain their $3,000 Armani suit. To me, those people are what I call sociopaths. As I write this letter, I am grateful to be able to do so, having paid my debt to society and to do so standing strong in my recovery. One of the precepts of my recovery asks for God to grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, and the courage to change the things that I can, as well as the wisdom to know the difference. Well, this is where the wisdom to change, where the courage to change the things that I can comes in. Because as I see this election transpire before my eyes, it's becoming more evident to me of the ludicrous double standard that exists in American culture still to this day. And I fail to see how it was ever great and how he is going to make it great again when it's stifling, oppressing, and failing so many people. And it's the hypocrites and double standard and entitlement that he embodies that is doing so. There are 19 million people in America with felony convictions. So I know I am not the only one that's seeing this and trying to figure out what's going on here. There were so many times that I didn't even complete job applications or even apply for a position simply because I knew I had felonies and was going to be automatically excluded. These were not corporate or financial jobs. These were blue collar, factory, Walmart jobs, and convenience store jobs. I am not judged on my ability or qualifications, but summarily and automatically discriminated against based on mistakes I made years previous, non-violent felonies. The positions I am able to acquire are menial jobs that do not pay the bills and I cannot successfully live on. So when I see this billionaire who has 34 felonies, months old, not years, with pending charges throughout the nation being considered, promoted, even lauded for the most prestigious and exclusive job in the world, not only am I confused and incensed, but repulsed. Since I've been in recovery, my life has totally changed. We do recover. And I even retrained myself vocationally in what is called a felon-friendly field. Class A CDL driver. Yet I am constantly being told no due to having non-violent felony convictions. I further find it ironic and distressing that the individuals running these background checks that won't hire one are probably the same ones that will vote to have one with a criminal record worse and longer than mine leave the free world. After being found liable for sexual assault, civilly for sexual assault, defrauded students out of millions of dollars by running a sham university, brags on tape about sexually assaulting women and calling it locker room talk, while it is being told to millions like me that actually make up the core and fabric of the American populace that we can't get a job at Walmart because we can't pass a background check, well, neither can he. A criminally insane billionaire can be handed the keys to our military secrets, trillions of dollars of our national economy, yet we have been fed this narrative and accepted this narrative for decades that once you have a felony, you will not be able to find good jobs. You will have your livelihood and your dreams curbed. You will not have the same advantages as non-felonious citizens. So discrimination against felons has become as deeply ingrained in American culture as apple pie and baseball. But the rules do not apply to this billionaire with 34 felonies. How is it that the janitor that scrubs the toilets at the White House has to pass a background check, but the president don't? Charles Manson has 27 convictions and is considered a sociopath and a maniac. Trump has 34 felony convictions, yet no stigma of a convicted felon. He can vote, has his passport, and all the privileges, excesses that no other felon has enjoyed. There's a big difference between a felon who is trying to correct their life, who has took the necessary steps to rectify the past, who is trying to live a licit, productive life, albeit who is trying to do these things and being met with resistance and discrimination, than one who just happens to have a lot of money, would rather pay a team of lawyers instead of the working class people who he has stifled on various failed projects, who can pay the way out of all sorts of things and yet has no remorse, is still a pathological liar, accepts no responsibility for anything that they've done. There is a difference in that. And the funny thing to me is for years that they played along by their own rules and people accepted the plot or narrative or what a felon can and can't do. It was a simple case of you made a mistake, so this is your lot in life. But now they don't even have the decency to disguise the discrimination, the disparity, hypocrisy, and elitism. The mask has been taken all the way off, and forgive my French, but basically says, F you. We're going to do what we want to do. You do what you can, but we're going to do what we want. There is not even the semblance or disguise of decency or equity and the much touted Christian values anymore. They are blatantly parading the facts in our faces that we simply have no power. That we have no say and that we are less than nothing. And I finally find it exceedingly more repugnant, the fact that they think we are so stupid, uneducated, that we can't see that they have been pissing on us and telling us it's raining all along. Please forgive my French. I know I am not the only American, the only recovering addict, the only convicted felon, the only human being that is seeing this and wondering the simple question, what the fuck? Again, pardon my French, but it's rather disgusting and rather frustrating to see the egregious double standard that's not even trying to be masked anymore, flagrantly flaunted in the face of the American people, and they try to normalize it. They have normalized it. I'm expected to be a model citizen and live up to all these expectations, but the billionaire isn't. He could commit crimes with impunity and receive the most prestigious job in the world. So I bring these grievances, these frustrations, and these inequities to you, Miss Vice President, because your experience has brought you into contact with people like me, and you've seen people who are recidivists, they just don't get it, people who are pathological and serial criminals who just don't get it, but you've also seen those who do eventually get it and deserve the better life that they may have attained, or deserve the better life that they're so desperately seeking, but have been barred from by the elitism, hypocrisy, as well as double standard that is crippling our nation and has crippled our nation for hundreds of years. The one thing in your speech that truly inspired me and gives me hope is, you said, and I quote verbatim, this campaign is about who we fight for. We believe in a future where every person has not just the opportunity to get by, but to get ahead. Unquote. It is that America that my great-grandparents, my grandparents, and unfortunately, even I, to this day, am still waiting and hoping to see. May God bless you and your campaign. In you I place my hope and my vote. Sincerely, Clisby. Now, I don't know what this letter will do. I don't know if she's going to read it, but I'm going to get it out to as many places as I can. I'm going to send a revised, shortened copy out to op-eds. I'm going to send some to senators. I'm going to send some to Supreme Court judges, because this is a travesty of justice. It's a travesty of the American dream. To have a billionaire who has committed more felonies than John Gotti walk into the White House after we have been discriminated against, fed a narrative, an accepted narrative for years that a felony can't do this, and can't do that, but he can be president. That is sheer and utter bullshit. I have nothing against Donald Trump. What I have something against is the disparity. What I have something different against is the double standard and the hypocrisy. So with that, this finishes my first installment. You can leave your comments. I'm really willing more to discuss these things further and to get other opinions. but right is right and wrong is wrong. Thank you and have a good day.